Hello today, people, and this is classic gaming. We're playing Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2. This is a Japanese version. It's a really weird Japanese version too. As you can see, I'm throwing fireballs in the air, and like I said, it's really weird. Uh, attacks attacks do basically next to no damage. Not to mention you can interrupt your special moves with special moves, and you can counter mid fall with a special move. It's really weird. Not to mention you're super fast on one side of the screen, rather. Obviously, it hasn't been 99 seconds yet, but yeah, the matches go really fast. Really, 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 really weird game. But anyway, Street Fighter 2 really kicked off the 2D fighter craze. I mean, before that, Street Fighter wasn't nowhere near as popular as Street Fighter 2. I mean, Street Fighter 2 just made the arcade industry freaking explode. Not to mention, yeah, it really just legitimized 2D fighters amongst other things. See, I did a Dragon Punch into a fireball. Really weird. So you can interrupt your fireball before you throw them. But Street Fighter 2 is probably one of the most influential games there is out there. I mean, it saved the arcade industry from dying, but then it kind of died off again anyway. But it's still pretty alive and kicking in Japan, but in the United States, the arcade industry is basically nothing. I'm sorry if this video flashes a little bit. I'm not sure why my DX Tori's messing up. I like the fact that you could stay up in the air and keep throwing. I forget what the name of this edition is. It's it's not a hacked ROM. It's an actual game version that came out only in Japan. I believe it had dip switches where you could change you could turn that stuff on and off. But yeah, I can't read it. Also, interestingly enough, in Japan, M. Bison and Vega, or their names are M. Bison, Vega, and Buck Balrog's names are switched. M. Bison in the United States is called Vega in Japan. Balrog in Japan is well, Balrog in the United States is called M. Bison, and Japan and Vega in the United States is called Balrog. So those three bosses are all switched up. The reason they did that was because obviously Balrog, the United States Balrog, looks basically dead on. Basically dead on Mike Tyson. So M. Bison was short for Mike Bison, and they had him name that. So they changed the name to avoid over here to avoid a likeness infringement lawsuit. Because you can sue somebody for using your likeness, even if they don't use your name specifically. So Yeah, that's why the names are switched over here. I'm not exactly sure why they switched Vega's name. I don't know why they didn't just switch M. Bison's, and it's really weird. The first time I ever played this game was in the arcade. I played it in front of a Walmart in Williamstown. They had it out there. That's also the first place I played Aliens vs. Predator, the arcade brawler, which was also a really good game. And uses the same engine as this, by the way. This is also the first time that when this game came out on SNES, it was the first time they had a 16-bit cartridge, 16 megabit cartridge on the NES. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Then later when it came out, I think it was the first 32 megabit cartridge on the SNES 2 when they released Super Street Fighter 2. On the Genesis version of Super Street Fighter 2, it was actually a 40 megabit cartridge. That super speed screws me up. Yeah, the only way you can do damage to people on this version of the game, I mean, really substantial damage, is by getting close enough to throw them. That's the only way you can do damage. So that damage, throws still do the same amount of damage, but everything else does absolutely no damage at all. I mean, it does, like, I'd say probably about every attack does 1% damage. Somehow, right there, I'm throwing fireballs out of my feet. Then needless to say, this game's kind of glitchy. But yeah, it's a Japanese game, so it doesn't surprise me. I really wanted to do the arcade version, but I couldn't get the arcade version working for some reason. But I think it's one of the most classic fighting games that you'll ever play. I mean, it spawned like all the 2D fighters. Pretty much everything inspired to be this game. I mean, it had the most responsive controls. I mean, it was the first time that they had multi-button combination presses where you could do special moves. Obviously, with that responsiveness, you could do that. You couldn't do that before. This is the first time you had to press down, forward, down, A, throw fireball, shit like that. Hold down for 2 seconds, press up, and kick at the same time. Never had that shit before. It wasn't in Street Fighter 1. It was with this new engine that Capcom came out with that made all that shit possible. So all the 2D fighters today can pretty much thank Street Fighter 2 and Capcom for bringing that forward. Of course, I'm sure someone else would have invented it, but I think that will just about do it for this video. If you haven't played Street Fighter 2, then you're probably not a child of the 90s, early 90s. I was a teenager in the early 90s, so I frequently remember playing this at the arcade and playing the absolute shit out of it when I got it for SNES, when I got the Super Street Fighter 2. I didn't have, I rented regular Street Fighter 2, but it was a fun game. If you get a chance, play this Japanese crack version just because it's freaking crazy. Even though the computer players don't really take advantage of the fact that you can do special moves from absolutely no position at all. It's really weird. Anyways, thanks for watching.